Hey guys, welcome back to the first video of round two. Sorry about lack of content and that. I've been out of power for the last 4.5 days, but yeah, we're here with our Jimmy. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, good mate. How'd your team go in round one?
I went alright. I got 890 points, which is alright. Um, yeah, I reckon wrong captain choice of Cleary. I know. I'm sure everyone did it, but I reckon Yo was a safe option with getting a solid 60 points, every week. So
Yeah.
yourself?
Oh yeah, we don't really talk about this week, but yeah, let's hope I can rise a couple of ranks because I'm currently sitting at 58,000 after 1 week.
Really? How many points did you get?
831. But I mean, there's about there's 800 points from first to 60,000, so I'm not that too worried there. But let's get into it. So, in the first team list, you see, let's talk about the Knights with their massive signing, not till next year, but Dylan Brown on a 13 million uh, dollar deal for 10 years. What are your thoughts on this contract?
Yeah, I personally don't agree. I don't actually rate him as a player. I feel like there's better people out there that you could get for cheaper. You know, um, yeah, I just don't agree with that. Especially 13 mil for 10 years. Was that right?
Yeah,
So that's over a mil a
1.3
year.
mil. Yeah,
Yeah, so he's like the third highest paid player now. Is that right?
yeah, something like that. I think. He probably doesn't deserve 1.3 mil, but I think they have made the right decision trying to bring in someone like Dylan who will, I think, do very well with Kalen Ponga. But
Yeah, I feel like Kalen Ponga needs someone else I feel like
yeah,
he's by himself.
yeah, and another guy that's out of this team is Jaden Brayley, which could play, which could do well for Phoenix Crosland. But yeah, so you see Kalen Ponga at the one. I think he's a very solid option. I'd really be looking at him. Not much on this night side. I think maybe a Dylan Lucas is close to a must-have. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree, especially with that dual position that he has.
Yeah,
Yeah, I reckon he's a must-have. I reckon he's a solid, I reckon he can get a solid 50 plus each game. So,
yeah. Greg Marzou kind of coming back a little bit, going for 55 there, which I think is good. He will make a lot of money, but I do think there are a couple better wing fullback options that you can kind of go for over Greg Marzou. Um, yeah, not much else here. Any interest in the night side at all?
yeah, no, it's pretty good. I saw Kai PS4 had a bit of a good game on the weekend. Was that 50 something points for him?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, you pretty much got it sorted there.
Yeah, I'm not overly interested in them, but going down to the Dolphins, another team that I'm not overly interested in. But yeah, you see, Jermaine Osako was one that I was plotting in and out of my team as a massive pod play. Ended up getting a 70. Osako's going to do this when he scores tries. He's going to score well. Very good goal kicker, but it's just an up and down nature for Osako there. And if the Dolphins can improve, he'll do well. But for now, I think Osako's kind of just one that if you want a pod, he's the way to go. But I think there's a little bit of risk that comes about Osako with 20s and 70s down there. So I'd let Osako go through. One that I think could be quite interesting is Oren Keeley with Fina Fuiaki being out. Just it's just a 1 week thing, so which is probably the only reason I'm not there. But next week when with Lemuelu being out for 4 weeks, that makes Fina Fuiaki probably an 80-minute player, which makes him a very good option. And do you think Tom Gilbert is a must-have with me currently not having him in my team?
Oh, 100%. I reckon Tom Gilbert is an absolute gun. He's a hard worker. I was watching him, he'd run from each tackle to each tackle, would be there every time. I reckon he's a must-have.
Yeah, he just scored. He had an incredible game on the weekend, and you're not worried about those minutes. Only got mid 50s and was just tackling his ass out.
I feel like as captain, he should get a bit more minutes than as captain, I feel like you should get more minutes, but I reckon he's a must-have.
Yeah, I mean, it was a relatively close game, and he still didn't get massive minutes, which I think it's a little bit of an outlier game. Like, I think now he's definitely going to make cash with a lower break even than that, but I don't think he's going to pump out 65 every single week. I think it'll be like 55 is his high, and then a 45, 40, and like that. But I do think it was a pretty up and back game, which is why he scored well. And if he got probably 60 minutes, I would have been a bit more. 70 minutes, I would have been a bit more interested in him.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the Warriors side, not much to look at. You see Aaron Clark holding that 13 spot, which I think he's still one that you watch. And yeah, Wade Egan at the 9 spot, someone that's interested, played quite well, but I think there's just a little bit too much risk with all those injuries that happened Luke Metcalf, is he a hold in your book or is he one you're looking to sell?
I've actually sold him this week for Jamie Humphries, so I reckon Luke Metcalf. I don't rate him based on how he played on the weekend. I saw that they got smashed, but I reckon Jamie Humphries is someone who you know can make some money and is in form at the moment.
Yeah,
How about
reason
you?
I've
Are you gonna keep Metcalf or are you gonna hold him?
no, I've gone Metcalf to Humphreys. The reason for that is I do like Metcalf. Like I do think Tavita takes away from his kick meters, which I'm not as big on him, but Humphreys just looks like a much better defender. And as a fantasy player, I'm big on players that don't miss tackles, especially when you're going to field
Yeah,
a half there. So Humphreys is goal kicking, he's cheaper and looks like a better tackler.
yeah.
The only thing
You think
Metcalf
for
probably
yeah, you go.
he's on a better team too. The Rabbitohs, and I think they're going to get absolutely destroyed again this week. The Warriors, from what we saw last week and from what we've seen from the Eagles so far.
Yeah. Do you think
Uh,
Aaron Clark is a potential buy for the upcoming weeks if he plays minutes or what do you go there?
yeah, I'd watch him again. They didn't get amazing minutes on the weekend, but yeah, definitely one that I'd watch, and wouldn't really look at until Dylan Walker is starting, and they're both starting. Like, so if there's an injury, it's
Yeah.
maybe one of the props, or until you see like a couple 55-minute plus games together. But one that do you have any interest in James Fisher Harris at all?
I've never been a big fan or owner of him, so I don't really have much to say. But I do, yeah, no, I don't really have much to say.
Yeah, I've never loved Fisher Harris. Last year he did me well when I had him, but I think yeah, it's just I think it's one that there's other middles that I would go to, and there's a massive pod play that I'm going to talk about in a couple of team lists coming up. But going down this Eagles side of the ball, I think Tom Trbojevic is a very good option and played extremely well on the weekend. Do you reckon he looks back to some of his 2021 form?
Yeah, no, I agree. He was all around the field, you know. I reckon he's a potential buy on the coming up.
Yeah, I do agree. If you're looking for someone in the wing fullback, I would definitely be looking at Tom Trbojevic. I really like him. Going down, you
What are
got
your, yeah,
Ruben
what are your
Garrett.
thoughts on Ruben? What are your thoughts on Ruben Garrick? I bought him like literally like about 10 minutes before they played, you know, with especially with his kicking position. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on having him on your side?
considering he goal kicks, I really like him. I do like trying to get as many goal kickers as you can in your team. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think Ruben with that centre wing fullback duel is really nice to have there. He was quite underpriced for what we've seen Ruben be able to do. And
Yeah.
I think if the Eagles are playing well, he's going to do well. And I think they've looked really good there. And another player that also yeah, I forgot Ruben in the buy category for this week, but another player that I think could be a mega pod and last in 2021, he did extremely well when Tom did extremely well. Was Daly Cherry Evans played
Yeah.
incredible on the weekend, pumped out a 78 there. I think I want to have a look at him for another week to see if the Eagles are really back. But I think it's one that you could very much take a punt on, and it could work really well there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Not
Yeah.
much in the forward pack. You see, Siasufa Talakai is out of the team completely. I think that's just an injury, and I think that's one that you kind of maybe sell now to a Jamie Humphreys there.
Do you think that Ola Kawatu is a buy after his performance on the weekend or
Yeah, well, again, if
potential
they're
watch, you
playing
reckon?
well, Kawatu's going to score tries, and that I think he played really well in the weekend, and I think with Fafita going off on the bench now, I think he's going to be one of the center or the edge keepers, especially with Angus Crichton, who's also not playing on as good of a Roosters team. Ola Kawatu
Mm.
could very much be the best edge to buy in fantasy this year. So
Yeah.
yeah, I do think he is a buy.
Yeah.
Not much else to say in this part of the team. I'll take us through the Panthers, and you can take us through the Roosters. So
Right, yeah.
yeah, on the Panthers side of the ball, you got Isaac Tungo, which is one of my team right now, on 489K. He's one that I'm very interested in, especially against this team here. I think the Roosters are tipped to come bottom 8 this year. I think Tungo, he's on the Cleary end and averages very well when Cleary plays there. So I think he's one that, yeah, look, he looked all right on the weekend. Had about 12 points lost and missed tackles there, which kind of hurt his scoring. But for me, Tungo, it's a pod play. One that is probably up and down nature, but he can get 80 any week, and it's just a matter of time before Panthers start putting absolute cricket scores on both of these teams.
That's right.
Do you have any interest in Jack Cole at a bit of a cheaper price of 270?
Yeah, I've got him in my emergency at the moment. I feel like I'll hold him for a bit, you know, if he has another not so good of a week. I reckon 29 was all right, but I reckon they won, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon he should have got a bit more. I reckon for me to hold him, I reckon over 35 points, 35 to 40 would be a good range for him.
Yeah, I'll
What
keep
do you
holding him because
Yeah,
if he keeps
I
getting
agree.
29s, he's still going to make money, but not one that I'm happy to play with 29s.
Yeah, I agree. Do you
I'll
think
play
that
a guy really.
Isaiah is a must-have at the moment?
Yeah, Yo's close to a must-have. Him and Haas are two middles. Obviously, I think if I was to buy a middle this week, I would be buying Corey Horsburgh over both of them with Joe Tarpany suspended. But if you want a gun, I think it's got to be Yo or Haas, one of the two.
You think that Connor Watson could also be there instead of Horsburgh, or
Yeah, I still think Horsburgh's going to go really well. We saw what he did last week, 57 in about 55 minutes. And
yeah,
I think there's going to be more to come, more minutes for him now this week with Tarpany out, the leader of the pack coming back. I think Horse is going to do really well and one that you could upgrade later.
yeah, no, I
But
agree.
a middle that I really want to talk about is Lindsay Smith. He pumped out a 64 on the weekend, and I think he's a massive pod play with a couple of their bigger minute forwards going and Leota getting older. I think Smith is just up on the rise, and Liam Henry back in the emergencies, which I think will take away from his minutes a little bit. But I am extremely interested in Lindsay Smith. Have you looked at Lindsay Smith much?
I have not. I've got pretty solid mids at the moment, so I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. But oh my God, I can't speak. I actually haven't seen Lindsay Smith play. Is he good? I don't really
Yeah,
know.
he's a very good player, just a workhorse. But I think that's pretty much all of it on the Panthers side. Yeah, so take us through the Rabbitohs side here.
The Rabbitohs side.
Sorry, the Roosters side.
So you got James Tedesco up at fullback. I like that. He had a pretty shit game. I mean, a bad game on the weekend. I was Do you reckon he's a buy or a sell if you have him?
I think if you have him, you kind of hold him. He is known to start off slow in fantasy in the
Yeah,
last couple of years. Same with the Roosters. I think it's just one that it was a mistake starting with him, but now you kind of got to hold him.
yeah, I know, I agree. You then got Mark and Noah Kawatawisa. I reckon if you have him, I reckon he's a hold at the moment. 35 points. I reckon you can hold him. I reckon he's not an interchange player. I reckon you can put him in your emergency. I reckon Robert Toya is a must-have at the moment. He had a great game on the weekend, 61. Do you reckon it's a must-have or?
Yeah, he looked incredible. I think he played probably the best game of his career, and yeah, I think he's one that I'm just going to keep in my centers each week. Low break even now. If I'm correct, I think it's -12, which I think is just
Yeah,
going
I
to be
did.
money to make. So if you didn't start with Rob, I think it's one you've got to pick up this week, and
Yeah.
you can almost play him in the centers because everyone's kind of struggling for centers this week.
Yeah, in the forwards we got Connor Watson. I'm an owner of him, and I reckon that with his dual position now of also hooker and prop, I reckon he's going to go well. I reckon he's a potential buy option if you want to dual position of mid and hooker. Now for White, he's a nice gun that you can have if you want someone that's not too expensive, but can get you an average of like 35 points. What are your thoughts on that on Nafua White?
Yeah, if he keeps starting, I'd say more than 35. I'd go 40 to 45. That
Yeah,
43 in the weekend. He didn't get the minutes we were expecting, but still at a very good PPM and kind of reminds me a little bit of a Terrell May last year where he kind of has to force himself into the big minutes, but when he gets them, he'll go bonkers. And yeah, I think that's Nafu White there. And until Samuel, not Samuel, until what's his face? Spencer Leonard was back. Nafu White won't be playing as many. I will be playing big minutes, and he'll be in my team definitely.
yeah. I reckon if you have Angus Crichton, he's a hold at the moment. I reckon he had a not so good a game. He missed a couple of tackles. But I reckon if you have him, he's a hold at the moment.
Yeah, then you go on a Salesi Fogarty. I think he's a void because Victor Radley's gone for a week and Nat Butcher won't be back for a while, I don't believe. So he could get that 13 spot, but with Sua Wong getting the first stint at it and Sua moving to the edge for Radley, I think that Sua would just go back to middle and but Fogarty will go back to the bench there. So yeah, I think he is one that you kind of avoid. But Billy Smith's in the reserve, someone to keep an eye on if Mark gets a late scratching out of there.
Yeah,
So yeah, let's go on the Bunny side of the ball. Quite a decimated team here with uh Dry Gray keeping the one spot. Not one I'm interested in with the trail about 4 weeks away.
yeah,
Fletcher Myers in the centres. I think him and Bentley Hape Who's out? They got White and is White just suspended, isn't he?
He's
For a couple of weeks.
suspended, yeah. I think he's suspended till round three.
Yeah, so no interest in Fletcher Myers, but at Bentley Hape, who's probably Tyrone Munro's replacement on that edge where Alex Johnston used to play. Do you
Yeah, I reckon he'll only play a couple of games. I think Alex Johnson's back round four. So I reckon he'll be there for a couple I reckon one more week after this and then I reckon he'll go.
Yeah, so I don't think it's any use picking up that 230 base player when I think there's
Yeah.
enough cash cows coming out this week that you could look at, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but going down Jamie Humphries, I think he's close to a must-have. He's going to
Yeah,
have a
I
break
agree.
even anywhere in the negative 15. I haven't checked his break even this week, but yeah, do you think he's a must-have? He'll keep goal kicking, and Lewis Dodd
Yeah.
was seen training with the reserves, and with him being on the reserves, has Jamie just won that spot over Lewis for the rest of the season?
Yeah, no, I reckon with his performance on the weekend, I reckon he should confirm himself and hopefully keep him there for another couple of weeks. I reckon for all the owners out there of Jamie, 100% keep him. And if you don't have him, I reckon you should. He's a must-have at the moment.
Yeah, and pretty much the exact same forward pack for the Rabbitohs. There's not many players I'd be looking at. Peter Mamazoulis, 1 year hold. I don't know if I'd be buying right now. He didn't look amazing on the weekend. Pumped out at 35, but yeah, Dave Imwali, um, yeah, not much to say about him. He was in my team on the weekend, but yeah, sell him if you own him. Didn't get
Yeah.
the minutes we wanted. And Lachlan Hubner played massive minutes. Do you have anyone in this forward pack that you would look to buy, or most of them just holds?
Yeah, I reckon most of them are holds at the moment.
Yeah, Hubner. I would maybe buy Hubner at
Yeah.
that lower price, but other than that, I don't really think it's really worth buying any of them. And no interest in Tallis Duncan, and still he's starting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so looking on the Dragon side, you see Ryan Couchman has come out with an ACL, which I think do you reckon that is good for Toby Couchman, or do you reckon them adding Laurie and Fatala Mariner or Fatala Mariner? Yeah, I don't know. He didn't play on the weekend, I don't believe, but do you reckon them adding those two will mean less minutes for Toby, considering that last year you saw that Fatala Mariner needed big minutes. DeBellin's close to an 80-minute player. Hamish
Mm.
Stewart played 40 on the weekend, and Blake Laurie's a very good prop. Do you think that Toby Couchman is still an option?
I reckon he's still an option. I reckon, how much is he? Is he like mid-range at the moment? Like
Yeah,
500?
40 odd.
Yeah, no, I reckon he's a potential possible buy. Just watch him for a couple of weeks, see, minutes and how he plays there. But I reckon he will play more minutes now that his brother's gone for an ACL and will be out for the rest of the season. So
Yeah, I think he is one that is risk this week, considering we don't know how many minutes he gets in a non-injury affected game. Like
yeah,
obviously that game, like he's not going to play 70 minutes every week, but
yeah,
I think it's one that you can still rely on him for a 40 to 45 score and kind of make you a little bit of money there. Not much in this Dragon side I look at. Guffo, nah. Holmes, no. Lockie Ilias, no. Damien Cook had an all right game on the weekend. My pod last year, Jacob Little, he absolutely killed it, didn't he?
Oh, he
Probably
had an
55
absolute
and
stunner.
30
Came
minutes.
on, made a massive difference. Yeah, that try was amazing.
Yeah, I'd like seeing him change clubs, and I think he'd do really well anywhere else. And
Yeah, I reckon if he were to change clubs, he should get some good minutes. I feel like with Damien Cook there, especially as captain and and starting, I reckon he will look at, the 20-minute game, the 20 to 30-minute games.
yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Little at 13 and DeBellin at prop. I think he's got a good ball playing on him, very good defensively in the middle. But
Do you think that now that Hamish Stewart, is back, do you reckon not back, but do you reckon he's a potential buy?
yeah, I was just about to ask you that. Got 40 minutes on the weekend, which I think was increased by Couchman going down.
Yeah,
But
I reckon. Yeah, I
at
agree.
a very cheap price and quite a good PPM, it could be someone that stays around the 25 to 30 point mark, depending on how many minutes he gets, and does make you a little bit of cash. But I just think there's more cash cows this week with a better role, like a Hubner that at the same price that I would kind of go with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, going down to this game, and this is a massive outline out of the North Queensland Cowboys with Kai O'Donnell in the starting spot, and Jeremiah Nanai dropped. That is insane. Nanai dropped an Origin player from the last couple of years, and Kai O'Donnell, does he become a player? an interesting option now. We know what he can do. Very good Super League player, and if he's playing 80 minutes, he's going to score really well. Do you have interest in Kai, or is his job security just not really there?
I feel like, with Nanai being an amazing, or, with a great, being a good player, I reckon it's a risk taking O'Donnell. I reckon you never know what the Cowboys are thinking just to give him a rest week, restart. I feel like it's a risk having him, but I guess you can take the risk if you want, not knowing if Nana's going to be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, could definitely score well playing 80 minutes by the looks of that bench there. But or Kyle Lawton played a little bit edge. But not much else on the Cowboys side. I still think Scott Drinkwater did very well to get himself to 38. Someone who was also in my team, and quite weird that Duffy had one kick and then Drinkwater had the other kick. Do you know anything about
Yeah.
that?
No, I'm not. Yeah, no, not really.
Well, I saw in the interview that Cotter said that Drinkwater won the conversion kicking and he was going to take it. So don't know what happened there, but you see all both of Purdue and Duffy are named. I think Purdue's one you hold, but you definitely
I
do
feel
not
like
look
he's
to buy.
definitely an emergency player at the
Yeah,
moment.
you cannot put him in the starting lineup. I think that 15 just shows that you can't. And yeah, you see in the interchange you got Jay Clifford there. So if Duffy gets scratched late, then I think you got to sell him, but I don't think he will.
Yeah.
And I do think Scott Drinkwater is still a very good player. He had a lot of try assists last year, and I think he's going to be even more important for the Cowboys this year with a lot of their troops gone. Um, Not much on the Sharks side. Do you want to take us through it?
Yeah, we got not really much in the in the back line. We got Nico Hines. I reckon not a buy, 40 points. I reckon you can take someone else or you can take someone better. You could go Jamie Humphreys, have some cash in the bank and, save someone up for potentially Haas or Isaiah Yo if you don't have one of them. In the forward pack, you got Adam Fanua-Blake. Yeah, he's all right. He had an all right game. Oh, how many points did he get?
He got 64, but it was boosted with that try he scored.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I reckon if you have him, he's a hold or,
Yeah,
yep.
definitely a hold.
Cameron McInnes, I know that you're an owner of him. What were your thoughts on his performance on the weekend?
Yeah, he played really well, and I think the Sharks looked so much better when he was on the field. He's their best
Yeah,
defensive player, could be the best defensive lock in the league. I think definitely going to be holding Cameron McInnes. I think if he can pump out a couple of bigger minute games with 70-ish minutes as their captain of the team, he'll be one to look at. But for now, just hold. I would not be buying. But the same
yeah,
bench would expect at worst he's going to get the same minutes, and with his PPM, he should yeah get around 50 points there. But yeah, on this Raiders side of the ball, you see Tamale holds a spot with Savage injured or suspended. He becomes an interesting option now. One that I've brought into my team has scored quite well when playing at the center or wing spot there. I do think he can hold that spot if the Raiders keep winning, as we know that Sticky likes to win. Going down, Jamal Fogarty's a good option too. I think could be a good downgrade from Nico Hind if you're looking for just pure bases. He does it all.
yeah,
Corey Horsburgh, someone that I think is close to the buy of the week. That bench, I don't see many minutes getting stinted at all, as I do think that Sime Sasaki and Matty Nicholson are both both edges, which you could see maybe Matty come onto the middle, but I do think that with Papali'i getting older, and I don't think Smithy's going to play 80 minutes, it could be massive minutes for Corey Horsburgh. Do you think Corey
yeah. No.
Horsburgh must have this week?
Yeah, I reckon he's a must-have. I'm not someone who owns him at the moment. I feel like I'm just gonna hold off for him a bit. I decided to take Connor Watson instead. I mean Tom Gilbert instead. Sorry, but yeah, I feel like if I were to have a couple more trades, I would get Corey Horsburgh. I also would have liked Zach Hoskins, but I was not able to fit him in my team. Are you an owner of Zach Hoskins?
Yeah, I am, and I would watch him one more week now with Matty Nicholson back just to see what the rotation is. As I do think that Matty could take some of his edge minutes, but looking at that bench, I don't see many minutes there for the bench. Like I think Matty could play 40. I don't know where he's going to play the 40. Couple at lock, I think for Matty there. So yeah, I do think that this week Hoskins won to see how he goes with Matty Nicholson, who is a really scouted player from New Zealand.
Yeah,
But on the Broncos, unchanged team. Good game from Shimasaki, one that you could maybe look at. But I think if you're looking to buy a cheaper center, I think you got to go Toya before him.
yeah,
Uh, Payne Haas, incredibly good game. I think it's a flip of a coin between Haas and YouTube. They both play Origin. They both score as well as each other. Pretty much that. Down the gun middle.
Do you
Toby
think that
Heft.
Jordan Ricky is a potential buy? You know, he
Nah,
got
Jordan Ricky,
62 on the
don't go near
weekend.
him. They got destroyed. I don't rate Jordan Ricky at all as a player.
Yeah,
I'm not going near him. Gowiski got saved by a try on the weekend. Definitely hold. I would not be looking to buy though. Kobe Hef again got saved by a line break. Wasn't a lot of tackles to be made in that game, but one that I'd be holding, not looking to buy. Any of those mid ranges, mids that we were interested in, Mawali, Takayaho, Kobe, I would not be looking to buy. The only one I'd be looking to buy is Nat White.
yeah.
Um, Not much else there on the Eels side of the ball. You see Isaac Iongi or Isaiah Iongi, who had a relatively good game, saved himself with that
Uh,
try there.
yeah,
But he should have got another try assist and very easily could have had a 35. I think this will be a little bit of a closer game than the Storm was because the Storm were close to premiership favourites there. Um, yeah, but not much options at all for this Eels team. You see
do you think
Lomax
that
still there.
Jermaine Hopgood, yeah, do you think he's a hold or a
Who?
potential sell?
Hopgood.
Yeah,
I don't think it was really his game on the weekend. They got absolutely destroyed, so ball wasn't in play very much. So that would have affected his scoring. But one that I think
yeah,
now, if you hold him, I do think you look to sell him one more week with that bench there. Like you got a hooker, a kind of a center edge. I don't know much about this Sam Taruviati guy and Matt Dury there. So it could be massive minutes for Jermaine, who played 70 on the weekend. And I think if you're selling a 70-minute player, then it's one that you kind of yeah, you hold because you'll know what Hopgood can do.
yeah.
Do you know much about this Jordan Samarani guy?
Yeah, no, I haven't actually heard him before. Did he play in the trial matches?
I don't know anything about him. Didn't know he was going to play until this week.
Yeah,
Yeah, not much else to be said here at all, really. Kelma Tuolangi gone. Injured
yeah.
or dropped for Kelma.
I think he got dropped.
Not even on the reserves, so yeah. But going on to the my beloved West Tigers, you see Jareen Buller is back at the one spot. That's a big inclusion for us, along with Api Coruscant. And Tristan
Yeah,
Hope's the one to make way at the hooker spot, which is yeah, what we expected. But yeah, those two probably ones that maybe you look at for a week. I do think Buller could be an interesting option in the wing fullback spot if you're looking for a wing fullback. Going there, Galvin and Luai, probably two that. Do you think Galvin's still a buy?
I reckon it's a bit too expensive at the moment. I reckon he had a all right game on the weekend. I reckon he's a bit too expensive at the moment. If you have had him from round one, I reckon he's a hold for sure.
Yeah, both of
Um,
them are holds. I
yeah,
wouldn't be buying.
yeah,
Stafford Toa there. He's a good player. Well, seems to have won that centre spot considering that Fa'atape has quite frankly just dropped out. Then going
yeah.
down,
He didn't really do much on the weekend.
yeah, Taro May, an interesting one to captain this week against probably what's going to be a tight, or probably a more of a one-way game towards the Tigers this week.
I feel like with Terrell May, I feel like he's a potential captain option. I feel like his tackles, offloads, tackle breaks. I feel like he could be a potential buy. I'm considering captaining Terrell May at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a buy in that. And I'm telling you all, please do not sell Alex Seyfarth. He was on 29, got a head knock in the last 15 minutes. So he probably would have gone to 30 if he was to, or 40 if he was to play those last 15 minutes. Had one
Yeah,
of the worst games I've seen of his career. Had an offload run, 25-meter run, with a couple tackle busts taken away from him. So I do think he showed enough signs he can get into those 45s to 50s there. So yeah, please do not sell Alex Seyfarth. But
yeah,
yeah, I think that's about it. Royce Hunter sell, Jack Bird, one I'm not really interested in. Alex Twall, good pod. We'll be looking at him though in the pod video that we put into our private group. I just reminded guys, if you're interested in joining the private group, please do. A lot of content in there. As you saw, Paddy, who is ranked 400, he's one of the private group members, and yeah, most of us are doing really well there. But
I
yeah,
do suggest going to it. It should be good.
yeah, going down there, not much in this Dogs team at all. I'd really look at. Reed had a really bad game, probably one you sell now.
Yeah,
Salute for Fafita. I don't have any interest in him considering that Josh Curran's coming off the bench, and I think that
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be 20 minutes. It'll be that kind of that Sam Hughes role where he plays 20 and then Curran comes on for the rest of the game. Uh, Jacob Preston, he kind of went low on the weekend. Do you think he's still a buy or maybe one that you avoid now?
I reckon he's one that you avoid. I reckon you can watch him for a couple games, see how he goes. I think he got like 42 points, I think that was.
Yeah.
He went really well in the trials. I feel like it wasn't to his full potential. I reckon watch him for a couple of weeks, and then if he, gets back to his mid 50 range, then I reckon he's a buy.
Yeah, so going on there, you see Kurt Mann back from that really bad black eye he got. Salidi Tupanua had a really good game on the weekend, scored a double. Do you have any interest in him at all?
There's a little bit of interest there. I think he would have got like maybe 40 points, maybe a bit lower without the two tries and two tackle line breaks. But yeah, I reckon it's a potential choice that you could do. Are you gonna consider buying him this week or?
Nah, I'm not staying clear of him for sure. I think it was just an outlier game. We knew what he did last year. He burnt us
Yeah,
last year, and he's a bench player there, which I don't really see the massive minutes for him, as I think that Curran's going to play massive minutes, and I think King's going to play massive minutes. So where do they really come in there? But yeah. Now going on to the Titans. You finish us off for the very last team of the video.
yeah, we got Keanu Kinney, a great player. I feel like he's too expensive to buy at the moment. We got AJ Brimson, who's I reckon he's a potential buy at 480k. I reckon he's someone who you can get.
Yeah, he'll
Jaden Camp, yeah,
he'll
you
do
go.
well. It's just a matter of fact if he can stay uninjured for a couple of weeks to get those
Yeah,
games together. But with this back line, there's a lot of potential here, and AJ could get a lot of tries. Like that's one of the most electric back lines: Campbell, Brimson, Khan
yeah,
Pereira, and Keeney. Watch out if
yeah.
they get a hold of it.
Jaden Campbell, I've just brought him into my team this week. I feel like with his goal kicking and playing at 7, I feel like he's a potential buy that you can look at for this week.
Do
Are
you
you
think he's
gonna
gonna?
look at buying him?
Well, my question is, do you think he's gonna run as much at 7 as he did at 6?
Not as much, but I reckon he'll get some good kicking meters there, and especially with goal kicking. They're versing the Bulldogs, so it should be a good game. Um, I reckon that yeah, no, I reckon it'll be a good game. I reckon that the um Titans, I reckon they're gonna come out on top. I reckon.
Yeah, I'm
I
feeling the
reckon that
Titans upset.
after the bye week, I reckon they're gonna be ready and fit to go. I reckon they're gonna knock over the Bulldogs. So I reckon Jaden Campbell should get some good kicking points there for goal. And I reckon for me he's a buy. But how about you?
Yeah, it comes with a little bit of risk. I would like to see him at 7 for a week, but yeah, I mean, I can see why people are buying him. Electric player. We know what he did last year. I mean, he went crazy when he played at the halfback, and I'm 5'8" there. So one that could definitely do well.
I'll look at forwards. Yeah, not too much of a interest for me with anyone there. David Fafita on the bench. I reckon he's a bit expensive at the moment. I reckon if he has a couple of good games, a couple of 60s, you could potentially buying him. But I still reckon that there's better people out there that you can get instead.
Yeah, not when coming off the bench. I would not go anywhere near David Fifita until starting, but I do
Yeah.
like his other edge partner in both Fermor as that centre duel to antipod Dylan Lucas with. I think he'll do really well. He'll have a really good year, and yeah, I think let's welcome back Tino from his ACL surgery. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think Tino's going to do very well. I hope he does well, but I think it's kind of a play that you kind of watch to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but do you have any last comments to say?
Yeah, no, that's it. That's good for me.
Yeah, well, cheers, guys. I just remind if you're still here, join that private group. You really won't regret it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Good luck to all your teams. Got any questions? DM us on Instagram, and we'll reply to them as soon as we can. Thanks, guys.